right, so I am reading Junie B. Jones and that Meanie Jim's birthday. I'm reading chapter 7. In chapter 6, if you guys remember, she took William's invitation to Jim's party, and her teacher, Mrs., got very upset, and Junie B. got in trouble. So let's see. Chapter 7, My Story This Time by Junie B. Jones. Principal is the boss of the school. He lives at the office. I have to go there when I am unruly. Unruly is the school word for not being ruly. There is a typing lady there. She isn't allowed to smile. Sit down, she says. She pointed at the blue chair. Yeah, I don't actually like to sit there. Remember that? 'Cause that's where the bad kids sit. And I'm not even that bad, I explained. I explain that to her every time I go. The typing lady leaned over the counter at me, and she made a look scary at me. Sit down, she said. I sat down. Then I pulled my frog jumper over my face so nobody could see me. Pull your skirt back down, said the typing lady. Yeah, only I'm allowed to do this because I have on tights. See them? They are green with little tadpoles on them. Just then I heard Principal's voice. Well, well, Junie B. Jones, what a surprise, he said. My mouth dropped all the way open. Hey, I hollered from under my dress. How did you know it's me under here? 'Cause you can't even see my face. Lucky guess, said Principal. After that, I uncovered my head, and me and him went into his office. I climbed up the big wood chair. Principal looked very tiredish. He rubbed the sides of his baldy head. Okay, let's hear it. What's your story this time? He said. I sat up straight and tall. My Story This Time by Junie B. Jones. Once upon a time, I didn't get invited to a Meanie boy's birthday, and I'm the only one in all of room 9 who isn't going. And so that's how come I was moving today. Only Mother brought me to school very stiff, and then I was a buzzing bee. Only William is a squealer, and Lucille won't be a good twin. And so then Mrs. yelled at me, and that's how come I had to twist that Jim's head, and now I'm sitting here in this big wood chair. I folded my hands in my lap. The end. Principal put his head down on his desk. I peeked at him. Are you laying low? I whispered. He sat up again. Then he called my mother on the telephone. Those two talk very often. This time they talked about the birthday party and how I'm not invited. And he hanged up. Principal looked nicer at me. I guess sometimes we grown-ups think we're the only one with problems, he said. We forget that even when you're little, life can be tough. Can it, Junie B. Jones? Yes, I said, life can get your goat. After that, me and him went out of his office, and he lifted me into the blue chair again. I want you to wait here a minute, he said. There's someone I have to talk to before I can get this settled. Yeah, only guess what? I don't actually want to sit in this chair, I explained, on account of this is where the bad kids sit, and I'm not even that bad. Principal thought and thought. Then he snapped his fingers. I think I have the perfect solution, he said. He went into his office and brought out a giant shopping bag. What if we hide you under here, he said. If we hide you under this bag, no one will be able to see you at all. I jumped up and down very excited because hiding is my favorite thing in the whole world, that's why. Principal sat me down in the chair. He put that giant shopping bag over my head. Hey, who turned out the lights, I said. Then I laughed and laughed because that's called comedy, of course. I bended my knees and pulled them under the bag. I hugged them real tight. Now all you can see is the tippy toes of my shoes, I said, very happy. So here's the picture of her hide under the shopping bag, and there's Principal in the back. I wonder if people know who she is. This is the perfectest solution I have ever saw. And so how did you even think of this wonderful thing, I asked. Only Principal didn't answer me back, because he probably went back to his office already. After that, I hid it inside my bag. I hid it a real long time. It was a jillion years, I think. Guess what? This is taking longer than a minute, I said from inside there. The typing lady didn't answer me. Yeah, only guess what? My knees are very bended and squished in here, I said, and so this isn't good for my circulation, probably. Just then, my legs started squirming all around because I was getting ants in my pants, that's why. Hey, doesn't anybody have ears? Get me out of here right now, because I'm at the end of my rope, and this thing, plus also I'm getting ants in my... All of a sudden, someone yanked the bag right off my head. Pants, I said very soft. She took me into the principal's office, and guess what? That Jim was there. He was sitting in the big wood chair, and Principal was frowning at him. Junie B., our friend Jim here has something he wants to say to you. Don't you, Jim? Asked Principal. That meanie Jim didn't answer. He kept on looking at his feet. Principal tapped his fingers. We're waiting, Jim, he said. Then that Jim did a huffy breath, and he said the words, I'm sorry. Principal raised up his eyebrows. Sorry for what, Jim? Tell Junie B. what you're sorry for. That Jim stared at his feet some more. I'm sorry I didn't give her an invitation to my party, he said very grumpy. But your mother told you to give one to everyone, didn't she? Said Principal. But you got mad at Junie B., and so you decided not to give her one. Isn't that right? That meanie boy did his shoulders up and down. I guess, he said real soft. Principal crossed his arms. And so what are you going to do to correct the problem, he asked. That Jim waited and waited. Then all of a sudden he got down from his chair and holded out an invitation to me. Look at Junie B.'s face. She looks so surprised. And look at Jim. He does not look super happy. My stomach did a flippy flop. For me? Is that really for me? I said, very squealing. Then I snatched that thing right out of his hand and I zoomed all around the room. Oh boy, I said, it's really for me. It's really for me, and so now I'm not the only one. I zoomed all around the big wood chair. Principal looked nervous of me. He hurried up and opened his door. Then I zoomed right out of there, and I didn't stop till I got to room 9. So we'll see about the party and if Junie B goes to Meanie Jim's birthday party.